I think that we can use it to enhance our focus on the most important parts of life. And the most important part of life for me is love. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Connor McMillan, and you are watching ThrivingMinimalist.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are talking about the two basic and most influential needs that minimalism can't touch. And in fact, I think we use minimalism to get closer to these needs, to enhance our connection with these needs, and to influence these needs in a way that will impact our lives in the most positive way possible. These needs are both love. And the first is coming from our relationships, from our external relationships, from the connections that we make and have in the world. And the second is our relationship and our connection and our love with ourselves. You know, we all need food and water and need to stay within a certain temperature range to survive. And there's no question, without those things being in sync, we can't live. But love is just as important, and if not more important than those things that we consider basic needs. Love is so influential. It has so much power to propel our lives, and when we don't get it, it has such a strong hold to keep us stuck and to keep us feeling confused, downright confused about why we are feeling stuck or depressed or anxious or alone or needing. I think that, despite love and self-love in particular being talked about more and more and more these days, we still tend to think about basic needs as food, water, shelter. And that's awesome. But really, love is the undercurrent of life, of everything that we do. Because if we don't love ourselves, this is a really basic understanding. If we don't love ourselves, we're not going to eat. We're not going to breathe. We're not going to drink water. All of those things are a practice of self-love, of loving our body and our mind and our place here in the world to take care of ourselves, to commit energy into living, to commit energy into life. And that might seem maybe, a dumbed down version of self-love. But the cool thing is, if we bring intentionality into those things that otherwise we just kind of take for granted that we do, like breathing, like eating, like drinking water, we can enhance our connection with the love that we generate for ourselves. And if we enhance that connection, we bring more joy. We bring more abundance. We bring more love into our lives. So I want to talk about these two things really quick with you guys, because these have been the thing that have created a life of joy for me. And in the last 4.5 years, they are my focus. Everything that I have received, i.e. created, in the last 4.5 years has come from a desire to have more love in my life. And that's both a love with the external world, with the relationships that are outside of myself, and also with the love that I feel for me and generate for me. So I want to talk about these two incredible, powerful forces that we can harness and utilize, and maybe get into a little bit more about how I went about connecting with those spaces more, and how I think I can offer you help to connect with those spaces as well. Give you some inspiration, some motivation to maybe find your way of connecting with love, both externally and internally. So maybe I can first talk about this idea of self-love. I have quite a few videos on self-love. I'm very happy to reference those up here in the corner. You can check out any of these videos that are coming up right now to get more specific on self-love. But maybe it's helpful for me to just go back a little bit and mention that I have parts of me that developed at a certain time, at a certain age, that have a hard time believing that I'm valuable. They have a hard time believing that I am worth love. They have a difficult time accepting love and indeed feeling loved. Even if it's right there, even if I'm pouring energy into myself or others are pouring energy into me from a love-based place, these parts still have a difficult time accepting it. And I've been working as a therapist for 3.5 years now. I've worked with like hundreds and hundreds of people. And what I found is that we all share these really beautiful and young and vulnerable parts that feel worthless at times, and that feel like, yeah, they're not valuable. And they come up in different ways for all of us. That's what makes us unique. But the thing that we do share is that we have the existence of these really beautiful, fragile pieces of our heart. And over time, like, I was so lost in this feeling of being of not seeing myself as valuable, not seeing myself as worthwhile, that I had other parts of my system that came in to protect me, and it manifested in actions such as like totally overworking myself, totally hanging out with people who weren't showing me love and respect and honoring me, totally drinking like obsessively and excessively, doing other drugs, smoking cigarettes, getting lost in habit, getting lost in things that really weren't serving me, and that although they were the best thing that I knew at the time to take care of myself, they really weren't practices of self-love as I know it now. And I was so lost in those actions to just take care of myself on a day-to-day basis, mostly through the method of distraction, that I couldn't even see that I was suffering. I couldn't even see that I had parts of me that were desperately looking for validation and love and assuredness that they were okay and that I cared about them. And there was nothing that the external world could really do for me until I was able to create that love and connection with myself. The very first step for myself in that journey was being able to observe myself, being able to see and to notice these different parts of my system that were either protecting me or were stuck in exiled pain. And what I do as a therapist when I connect with people I'm working with, the very first thing that we do is start to learn how to self-observe, how to get into that state where you can be the observer of you and feel these different things that are coming up, rather than just being in them and being overwhelmed and being lost. And if we can begin to self-observe these different parts that take care of us or that are stuck on a day-to-day basis, we can begin to understand their story, where they come from, how they come up inside of us, what they feel like. And if we can begin to understand their story, then we start to develop naturally a sense of compassion and love for them. That is, we develop a sense of compassion and love for parts of us that for so long have either been ignored, shut down, told that they're not good, told that they're worthless, told that they're not valuable, that we want them to go away. And once we develop this understanding that like there's this method of observation, understanding, compassion, love, that aligns our system with health. It aligns our system with love, and it allows us to heal and grow in a really natural way where we don't have to force things, because there's always parts of us that want us to be better, that want us to do better, that have an ideal in mind. And that's cool, that's great. And also sometimes those parts are not as compassionate as other parts of us need to actually get to that place. Do you know what I mean? So like that self-critic part that's telling us like, you got to do better, you did this thing wrong, you got to get your shit together, blah, blah, blah. That is a valuable part. And also it may not be a suitable environment to allow those other parts of our system that maybe don't feel valuable or seen or loved to heal and to grow and to connect with us in a big way. For me, learning about self-observation through a methodology called internal family systems therapy was huge. Having a protocol that I could approach my system with to begin a journey of self-love was essential for me. And what I found is that for most people, once they get an understanding of this type of protocol, they're able to just like click right into it and go. And I don't care how you get in touch with, and I don't care which protocol you do get in touch with to develop a sense of self-love. I don't care. I don't care how you go about it. But I do care that you find it. Because I think you're watching a video like this and you're wanting that. You're asking for it and you're looking for it. And so I really, really, really care. It's the biggest influence I've ever had in my life, is to find a protocol that I could connect with and learn about myself from. And going from drinking every single day, having relationships with people that were maybe less than vibrant, to say the least, being really lost in overworking, like 60 to 80 hour, weeks of work, having insomnia, anxiety, depression, apathy, I mean, you name it. And then being where I am now, like 4.5 years later, it's nothing short of a miracle. And I feel like I have something to offer in that regard. Check out Internal Family Systems Therapy, IFS. It works with individuals. It approaches our system as if it were kind of like a family. So there's like multiple parts of our system that have different perspectives on how to live life. And what we do through IFS is to kind of observe them, understand them, find compassion for them, and allow them all to work together in a way that's more harmonious than what we tend to feel on a day-to-day basis. I think it's a super valuable program. It's a 30-day program where you get an email every day with about 45 minutes of exercises, of reading, of self-observation, and it helps you develop this sense of purpose in your self-love journey and like how to actually go about developing self-love. You can use this discount code and get $10 off. I think it's a highly valuable program. And I also don't care if you buy it or not. I just care that you find something that you're looking for in this regard. And I think that IFS and I think that this program can really help. The second thing that has massive influence on our lives is our relationship with the external world, our relationship with other human beings, and the love that we can actually generate in those spaces. This is a big one. There is a sense that I've gotten from myself and from other people that I've talked to, that sometimes we get locked into a feeling of obligation in our relationships. Whether it's because we are biologically family, or we've just been friends for a long time, or we grew up together, or whatever it is, we tend to sometimes get locked into a sense of obligation in relationships. And this can be tricky, because we are so naturally empathic and loving and compassionate creatures. We really want to take care of other people. And sometimes we want to take care of other people so bad that we forget that we have to take care of ourselves too. And so I have found myself in relationships that have been toxic and have been taking from me, that they've been kind of vampiric. That energy is being zapped from me and nothing's being returned. This kind of setup doesn't make anyone a bad person. It's just really important to recognize when this might be happening. And I would recommend, if it feels safe, to communicate with the other person or the other people in your lives and saying, hey, I'm recognizing that like I'm giving a lot and not getting very much, and it's not sustainable and I can't do it like this. Can we change things up? And if it doesn't feel safe to communicate that, to honor yourself and to love yourself enough to maybe take a step back. And this doesn't mean that you have to do it in like a way that's not going to feel good for you and just like say, screw you, I'm out of here forever, you'll never see me again. You can do it in a way that's gentle and loving and relaxed and also takes care of you. And that act is also self-love. The people that we keep around us will influence you, period, whether you want it to or not. And that has to do with relationships that are outside of even friendship or family. So like if you're going to a job every day that's in a hostile work environment, you will be influenced by those people. And in order to keep bringing good vibes into your life, it might take quite a bit of energy. And it might be kind of not worth it. And so that's another area of your life that you might want to take a peek at and say like, okay, am I compromising? Am I putting myself into an environment that has relationships that are less than ideal? And is the exchange that I'm getting worth it? So if the exchange is money, for instance, is that amount of money worth it? And if it's not, believing and knowing that you do have options and allowing yourself to dream, allowing yourself to visualize and fantasize about something that is more ideal for you. I love my ex-wife. She's amazing. We were together for 12 years, from the age of 16 until 28. She's fucking great. Like, I really love her. And also, and she would say this too, by the end of our relationship, it was toxic. It was like no good. I had needs that weren't getting met. She had needs that weren't getting met. We did not have a foundation of healthy communication set up to even observe those needs, let alone communicate about them. Something had to change. And she was the one to kind of break it off for me. This was like 4.5 years ago. Everything in my life just like exploded. Like I thought I was going to die. And because of that, because of the breaking, because of like the breaking of my heart, the breaking of my structure, my day-to-day structure, I was able to find a completely new path. And I just did everything that I could to change my life as drastically as possible because there were so many things that weren't working. I love spending time with her these days. Our relationship is totally not toxic. It's really healthy. It's really beautiful. She has a child, not mine, that she had after our relationship, and I love her child so much. And in fact, Brittany and I nannied for her for a little while, and we all like get along really, really well. And I love feeding and putting energy into that relationship. But part of the reason that I love it so much is because we have both done the work individually to create a healthier relationship now where we come together and it's beautiful. There is no relationship in my life that I have currently that I don't want to have, or that I have second thoughts about, that I'm questioning, that I'm feeling drained from, that I'm feeling like there might be some kind of vampiric stuff happening. Not one. Not one relationship. And let me tell you something, I have more friends now than I've ever had in my whole life. And that's not like a, hey, look at me, I have all these friends. But it's like, this is possible for you too, kind of thing. You know, I had maybe like 5 friends 5 years ago. And I barely hung out with them. And when I did, we would just drink. And actually, I love all of my old friends too. We don't spend very much time together these days because we're just in separate places doing separate things. I think they're all wonderful. I also think me that was showing up in those friendships wasn't healthy. And so those kind of like the dynamic, the way we related wasn't very healthy. But they're fucking lovely and awesome. And what I tend to focus on now in the relationships that I have is creating something that is going to continually benefit me, benefit them, benefit us, to create together, to bring love, to bring intimacy, to bring vulnerability and safety. I want to keep expanding and becoming a bigger, better, more awesome human being. And I think we really have the power to do that with other people. We can do it on our own, and it's essential to do it on our own up to a point. And then to bring in other people, it just enhances it. It enhances it like big time. So to this regard, I want to mention something else. Brittany, my partner in acro business, in life, in this RV where I'm making this video from. I love this human being so much. We put on a festival in Thailand. It's called Fruit Winter Fest. You can look it up, fruitwinterfest.com. I expect there to be 400 people there this year. It's a donation-based festival. 400 people are going to come there with their hearts, with their desire to grow, with their desire to connect with you, with their desire to hold space with you, with their desire to find more self-love with you, with their desire to find more love in a community with you. So like, we are looking for you, and I'm looking for you. I want to keep expanding my connections in this world and in this life, and I really encourage you to check out our festival. We want you there, fruitwinterfest.com. At the same time, we put on a retreat. It's side by side. This is a 10-day retreat, and it's basically a concentrated version of the festival. So you come, you join in on all the festival activities, and then you also stay at this really awesome house with about 30 other people who are looking to dive deeper. We have tickets for sale right now. They are not going to last very long. I would expect maybe another month or two, and they will be gone. And so I'm making this video, taking time in this video right now to reach out to you and say, come, we really want you there. Minimalism will never take away love from your life. I think that we can use it to enhance our focus on the most important parts of life. And the most important part of life for me is love. It's love, it's love, it's love. It's always love. And I just keep coming back to it. It's only become more real for me. This is a massively long video on a topic I could talk endlessly about. And I'm curious how it falls for you. I feel like I probably talked about 20 different themes that could be their own video, and I'm hoping that I linked it together pretty well. I have a great desire for you to find your path, to find your connection with love. And if anything I've mentioned here you want me to elaborate on, please post down below. I read every single comment. I keep every single one in mind and close to my heart. Yeah, I just love you guys so much. Thank you for letting me share in this way. And if you are interested in my program, 30 Days of Self-Love, I would just highly encourage you to go for it. If you're interested in Fruit Winter Fest, I would highly encourage you to do that as well. Much love to you guys. We will be checking in very soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.